and making a different decision than my own mother did when her cheating husband, my father, left us with went and got another woman at work pregnant. Don't feel sorry for me. I've had a great life. But my mother had her high school education and no economic prospects, no economic wherewithal, no employment prospects whatsoever. But she did what a lot of women in this country do is she pulled herself up and she figured it out. That's America. She figured it out. She figured out how to support us, how to keep me in Catholic school. My story is my story, but it is such a common American story. I was raised by my mom, her mom, and two of my mom's unmarried sisters in this house. South Jersey's version of the Golden Girls, for sure. The housecoats with the snaps and the cheesecake benders and all. And I got to tell you, we talked about everything around that kitchen table, but we never had a single political conversation I can remember, not one. That, too, is very common in America. It's very common in America. I didn't have a single political conversation, but I was raised to be a conservative, and I was raised to be a Republican without ever hearing those words. It was about faith, our Catholic faith, our Italian background. I look like my father's side Irish. But it was about faith, family, freedom. You knelt for the Lord, and you stood for the flag, and you never confused the two. Yes. The men in my life, my cousins, my uncles, our extended family, friends of family, the men in my life were all members of the private trades. They all worked in the Philadelphia, Camden area, South Jersey area, carpenters, welders, iron workers, mechanics, hairdressers. And they walked across the same high school stage I did, and I was valedictorian and went on to law school. They walked across the same stage, got the same high school diploma. But they had something I could never have, which is a skills certificate. And they supported themselves their entire lives and their families their entire lives. And we need to appreciate and lift that up more. I start my book out by saying, quote, by every imaginable metric, I should have been a Democrat and a liberal and a feminist and probably a man-hater too. But somehow, being raised in the height of the women's liberation movement, no fault divorce, Roe versus Wade, father leaves, no child support, no alimony. We meet when I'm 12. We have a great, loving, pleasant relationship for 40 years until he died right here in your county 2 years ago. And it's also a great story of redemption and mercy and forgiveness. And if there's someone in your life who's sought it from you, think about it. That's my other message. Really none of my business, but my message. Because you've sought mercy and redemption and understanding and forgiveness. So when you're in a position to give it, you should. And I also think that's part of the conservative ethos. It's not a Republican or Democrat thing. Well, maybe. But it's definitely part of the ethos and part of our values. And I say this, I have it on my first page by every imaginable metric. We moved it to the very first opening paragraph of a 500-page showstopper, doorstopper book. Because I want people to read that and say, really? You weren't raised Republican? How? Really? Wow. I wasn't raised either way. But I was raised the way many Americans are raised, which is values and hard work and humility